What is main method structure? Public, static, void, main, parenthesis, string, square bracket, args. This is the main method structure. So this is unchangeable portion, and this curly braces region, whatever you write, that will be executed for you. You write other methods, but you should call them here only again. The method name you need to call here. So then only that code will execute. So that's what a main method. Now, I already explained public keyword. So again, I'm repeating one more time. Public is a access modifier keyword, which can be applied on class, method, any class you can use public keyword. Any variable, any constructor you can use public keyword. That's what, see, method line we are using a public keyword. That means this has a power. This main method anybody can access. Why? Because of public keyword. That's what you are calling in your own class, because of public only. Anybody can call this main method to execute their programs, because of public keyword only giving power to this main method for others. Then the next keyword, static keyword. So I'm explaining one by one keyword here. Everything I'm coming line by line. So I have given class, right? Class means what? And what is this class keyword I have explained? And how to identify this class name I have given clear picture on the previous class. And now I'm going to explain static keyword. What is static keyword? The static is a non-access modifier keyword. It will be applied on method, variable, and block. Where you can use this static keyword? Only on method, variable, and block. But you can use static keyword for inner classes. There is an inner classes concept. Now we are creating only one class, right? There is an inner classes concept. One class inside you can create another class. That is static class you can create. Private static class name you can create. So there you can use this static keyword, but directly this static keyword is not applicable for the class. Only static keyword where you can use only on methods and variables and blocks. 3 places only you can use static keyword. Nowhere else. See, I didn't give a constructor also. I didn't give a class also here, because this static keyword is not applicable for those 2 things. Venkat, you got answer, right? So only these 3 places you can use. That means static method, static variable, static block. That's it. Nowhere else you will use static. And when you can use, where you can use, I have given. This is the answer. Where you can use static keyword, I have given answer. What is that? You can use on the method, on the variable, on the block you can use static. Anybody having query on this top in this line? Simple statement. This statement. Where you can apply this static keyword? On the method. That means static method you can create. On the variable, that means static variable you can create. On the block, static block you can create. Only these 3 places you can use static keyword. Nowhere else. You should not use on the class. You should not use for the constructor. The static keyword is not applicable for the class and constructor. Okay. Now, when you can use this static, if some property is common to all objects, then make that property as a static. Then what is the advantage? It won't occupy more memory. So this same property you are calling multiple times, it won't occupy memory every time when you are calling. That's the reason we need to create a static variables and static methods. Now, static keyword mainly used for memory saving purpose. What it will do, it will allocate in the JVM memories only one time, and the same will be reused. It won't, whenever you are calling the same property, it won't create another memory for that. Whenever you are calling the next time, it won't create another memory. Only one memory, one time it will allocate in the class area memory. Class area memory is there, right? JVM memory is, remember, class area, heap area, stack, PC register, native method stack. So these are the memory areas, and these memory areas and these static variables and static methods will go and store there. And one time memory allocate for them, and you can reuse n number of times. It won't allocate memory whenever you are calling other type. That is the reason main method made it as a static, because every line execution. So this every line execution, the main method will be called. You are calling the main method means to execute this line, main method will be called. The memory will allocate. Again, second line. If you are not making this as a static, this main method, and every line you are calling the main method, so memory will occupy. So next line, another memory will occupy. Like that, if you have 100 lines or 1000 lines, 1000 times memory will occupy, then application will easily crash and performance is very low, right? Performance will be very low, and it go down, it degrades your performance of the application. So then what they did, okay, so if you're calling one method for multiple objects, then make that property as a static. Now this is the property, we're making this as a static, so that what will happen, one time memory allocates for this and you can reuse n number of times. That's the purpose of static. Like, so let me give you some examples. College name of students, where here college name is the static variable you have to declare. Why? Every student you have to give the college name, right? If you don't make a college name as a static, what will happen? If there is 1000 students, 1000 times the allocates the memory. It's a waste of memory, right? 1000 memories creating means you're wasting the memory. Instead of that, okay, it is common to all the students. So what you can do, you just create that as a static variable and you can reuse for all the students. That saves a lot of time, a lot of memory. That is the static purpose. It is saving the memory for the common properties. Only if there is a common properties, use this static keyword. If it is not common, you should not use. If it is a unique queue, don't use this static keyword. When to use? Only any property is common to all objects. All objects, here objects in the college, which is the objects and which is a common property? College and students. Here, which is the common properties, common objects, and is a common property? College is a common property or object? Common object or students. Students is a many, right? Here students is an object and common property is a college name. Same company name for employees, right? Company name is a common here, common property. That is, you will apply for all the employees. So employees here are objects, common objects. So all objects you have to apply this company name. All employees you have to apply this company name. So that such kind of common properties are there to many objects. Then you have to use this static keyword. Okay. So that's the static purpose. So I have given where to use static keyword, where to apply I have given. Now when to use I have given a second question. Two questions should strike in your mind. So what is this? Where to use is? What is the answer? On the method, on the variable and block you can use static keyword. And where you can use that is, so if when you can use means if any property is common to all objects, that common property you make it as a static. Like college name common to all students, company name common to all employees. So here common property is a company name and college name. And now here main method also is a common to all lines of code. That's why they made main method as a static, so that it won't occupy much memory. Otherwise, if you are not making this main method as a static, for every line the main method will be called. One memory will allocate. Second line, another memory will create. Third line, like that. How many lines of code is there? That many times memory allocates. It's a waste of memory. Instead of that, what they did, okay, let's make it a static. So when you make a static, what will happen? Memory allocates only one time for this main method. The same memory will be reused for all lines of code execution. So that is the reason they made it main method as a static. Another question they will ask you, why main method made it as a static? If you don't make main method as a static, it occupies extra memory. And for each line of code execution, the main method will be called. So another memory will create. Next line, another memory will create. Next line, another memory will create. Till that n number of lines, n number of memories will create. So you're wasting a lot of memory. Instead of that, you make it as a static. So one time memory allocates and that will be reused for n number of lines of code. That is the reason they made main method as a static. To avoid extra memory allocation, made it as a static. They made the main method as a static. So these are the questions they're going to ask. So that's the two questions and answers I have given. One is where you can use, when you can apply this static keyword, when you can use this static. Are you clear? Now I'm going for syntaxes. Okay, I told you can apply on static method. What is the static method syntax? I want to create my own static method. What is the syntax? I have given already in the previous classes. I'm giving one more time. So static method syntax without parameters. I don't want to use any parameters. Then what is the method syntax? This is the one. Access modifier, static, void, method name, parenthesis, curly braces start, method body, and method body ends. Every method is independent. One method ends, then you need to start the next method. So here is the example for this. So this simple syntax, based on this, I'm deriving more methods. So I have given access modifiers. So I want to ask this question, Swati, what are the access modifiers? Public, default, private, and protected. Okay, now access modifier I already given. I'm going to use one more time here. So all public, private, default, protected, I'm going to use in the access modifier. Any one keyword you can use here. Then static keyword, right as it is static keyword. Then void, and give your method name, and then parenthesis, write your method body. So I'm creating a demo class, public class, static demo, and see that access modifier place, I'm putting my private method I'm creating. Private, static, void, m1 method. So parenthesis, curly braces start, and curly braces ends. In this method body, I'll write my own logic. So this method is ended here. Then I'm starting my next method. So in this access modifier place, I have used here default. I didn't use any modifier keyword. I'm starting directly with a static keyword. So that's a static void m2. So parenthesis, semicolon, parenthesis, curly braces start, method body ends. So next method I'm starting. So access modifier I'm using now protected. See this based on this formula, I'm deriving my own method. So access modifier I'm changing for every method, and method name I'm changing. I can write the statements here, and this is a class name I have given, relevant name, static demo, so that you can understand. So what you are explaining in this class, that's a naming convention you have to give like that. Relevant name you have to give for the class, and then public static void m4 parenthesis curly braces start method body. See all these parentheses inside empty. I'm not giving any parameters here. That's what I call without parameters. You can create a one static method. That is the syntax of this one. If you want to create a method without any parameters with a void keyword, use this syntax. So with this syntax, I derived four methods. Four methods I have derived, and I have written that simple class. See all four keywords. Okay. I created my static method with the private access modifier m1. So where can I access this m1? Where can I access this m1? What is the permission of m1 now?
Main method within the class only.
In the same class only. That's the answer.
So,
the same class you can use m1. Why? Because of private.
But it's a private.
Private stops accessibility, visibility for other classes. m1 you cannot use in another classes. Who is stopping? Private is stopping. Only within this class, anywhere you can use. Like I can call in m2 method also this m1. I can call in m3 method also. I can call m4 method also, or I can call in main method also. Anywhere you can call in the same class only, not outside the class. Again, I'm repeating one more time private here. Where you can use private. If you apply private keyword on the method, where you can use that private method. So in the same class, anywhere you can use, same class only, within this body only, you can use that private. So next, this is the default access modifier, right? M2 has a permission to use in the same package in any class. A package contains a group of classes. Same package, any class you can use, and that's a default permission. And protected. So this M3 method, you can use same package any class. Another package also possible if you apply the inheritance for this class. Then this M3 method you can use there, and M2 you cannot use in another package because this is a default access modifier you use it. So how are you saying a default? You can ask. There is no modifier keyword here. Actually, in this access modifier place, some keyword must be there. It is not used any keyword. That's why that is a default. That's how you decide default access modifier. Public where you can use anywhere, entire project, anywhere you can use this M4. That's the power of public. So I created M4 as a public static method. See that static keyword I used on the methods. On the methods we used the static keyword, so that these methods I can use anywhere. So that's a one type of simple static method without parameters. Okay, I want to give some parameters. Then what is the syntax? This is the second syntax, static method syntax with parameters. Access modifier static void method name, so parenthesis, data type parameter 1 comma, data type parameter 2 comma, data type parameter 3. How many parameters you want to give, you can give. So this is the how many parameters you give. Every parameter must starts with the data type. What is the data type of that parameter, comma. So one more data type, one more parameter you want to declare. First data type of that parameter 2, then comma, parameter data type of parameter 3, data type of the parameter 3 you have to write. Then close the round bracket, then start a method beginning, curly braces, then end the curly braces. Now this is the one with this syntax. I can derive a few more. See that access modifier I used public static void method name I have given M5 and data type is int a comma. Next one float b. Next one char c. So here C data type is a character, B data type is a float, A data type is an integer. Then, so when you create a parameters, you must use these parameters inside your method body logic. If you are not using, don't declare this parameter. Which parameters so you want to use in the method body logic and in the calculation, only declare here. Then what is the advantage of parameterized methods? You can pass different values and you can call the same method multiple times and you can give different values. Suppose I want to give this a value 5 first time. I will call M5 in another place and I give a value as a 5. So that's the first argument. Second argument, I need to give b as a float data type. That means float means a decimal, right? And 1.5 I will give. So this is also done. Next I will give c value as a small a. Small a I'll put. Now all these variables data you pass it to this M5 method wherever you are calling this M5 method, not in the declaration. This is the definition. This is the definition you are giving. Definition time you should not give values. Definition time you just give the data type and parameter name. So now A, B, C are the parameter names for this method. Now these are the local to this method only. You can use these parameters only within this method only, not outside the methods. That's the parameters how to declare. And then so next one is you can practice this. So how I have written 4 methods, right, with 4 access modifiers. You can try writing in the same static demo class 4 methods with so follow this syntax and write 4 methods with one is public parameterized method, private parameterized method, default parameterized method, protected parameterized method, and give one parameter also, not necessarily more than one, right? So that's the another thing. I'll just show you that static variable syntax. So methods are done. So you can create a methods with this syntax, with this syntaxes. You can derive your own methods by following these syntaxes. I have given access modifier keywords. If you don't know, I cannot help out again. I repeated so many times this, right? All the access modifiers I repeated multiple times. Now I'm coming again. Now static variable syntax. What is static variable syntax? Variables are mainly used to store the data, and access modifier static data type variable name equal to value semicolon. So this is the assignment operator we call this. You are assigning this value to this variable. That means this value will store in this variable in the memory location with the name. For your value, you're giving some name so that wherever you need that data, you can call with this name. That's a variable name means. See that first variable example. Based on this syntax, I'm deriving my own variables. That's what everywhere I will give formulas first. So if you remember the formulas, you can create your own variable, right? Your own static variables. If you remember this syntax, first access modifier, then static keyword, then data type, variable name equal to value. So access modifiers I already given. And what is meant by static, I told you. Data types I need to give. So I'm going to introduce here data types after this class, and tomorrow's class after we're going to introduce that. See that access modifier is default. Directly I'm starting with a static keyword. So no modifier keyword I used here. That's why it is a default access modifier. Static, and data type is a string. String is a one data type. And then variable name is yes, equal to. The value is selenium. Selenium is a string, right? That's why I'm putting in double quotes. String always you need to represent within double quotes. So more than one keyword or one letter you're writing, that must be enclosed in double quotes, right? So now if you remember this syntax, easily you can tell what is the access modifier of this yes. You can, if anybody asks, you can tell easily. It's a default. The next question, what is the data type of your variable yes? String. So compare here, easily you can tell. Then anybody asks what is the yes value? So selenium. So that's all 3-4 questions. If you remember this syntax, you can answer easily, right? You can tell what is the data type of your variable, what is your variable name, what is your variable value, what is your access modifier. I can derive my own class, my own variables. See that data type I used integer, I equal to 10. So now I contains 10. That's what the variables I'm declaring. Then protected, static, float x equal to 25.5 f. So these are all 4 access modifier I have used here. So with the 4 variables I declared, you try that. Practicing time, you just do like this. Practice with all 4 access modifier keywords. Declare 4 access modifiers, 4 variables, and you will get an idea. Okay, each access modifier you are using. So you are declaring one variable. So here a default, first one, then public, then private, then protected. So all I am deriving based on this formula. This is the base to create static variable. Anywhere you want to create a static variable, this is the base syntax. Just to follow this syntax, word by word. First you have to start with the access modifier. That's a static variable syntax. Static variable means this is the fixed syntax. It doesn't change. Access modifier, static, data type, variable name equal to variable value, semicolon. Okay, so this is the static variable syntax. Okay, so next, and the variable is done. So now this is the assignment operator, we call this. This is all assignment operator. You are assigning a value to that variable, and this is a double equal to is the comparison operator. You can compare 2 variables. So public, static, boolean. Boolean is the another data type. Now we have seen integer, float, and string, right? And another data type is a boolean data type. So only boolean values you can get it. Boolean b2 equal to I equal to x, I double equal to x. That means you are comparing 10 equal to x. You are saying 10 equal to 25.5. So I value is 10 and x value is 25.5. Is it same, equal? No, right? So you will get a false here. So this expression is going to give false. False is of type boolean. That's why boolean data type I declared b2. So this is the variables how you can play around. Next one, static block. Static block means it's an initialization block. This block of code will execute first, even before main method also. Even before main method, you want to execute some code, you can use a static block. Generally, first main method code will execute, right? But main method before you want to execute some other code, then take a static block. Static block, you don't need to call, just create a static keyword, then curly braces and curly braces end. Then write some logic inside the curly braces region. All that code will execute automatically. You don't need to call anywhere. You don't need to call in the main method, that static block. Automatically it will execute when you run the program. That is the static block. When you can use, some precondition code you want to execute before main method, then you can use a static block. So that's the static block. So this is the simple static block I have written. Static keyword, then curly braces start. That's a static block. It's very simple. Then write all your logics here, all your statements logic, and curly braces ends. And that's the static block means, right? And static block, static variable, static method syntaxes I have given. And why main method made it as static, I have explained very clearly, right? So let's move on to practical session. So I expand my project. This is the expand icon, arrow mark. You click on this, then project will expand. Then SRC, you expand the SRC. Then I'm creating my class under basic programs. I'll create a static demo, static keyword demo I'm giving here. New class you create. New class, create a new class. In the same package, I'm creating another class. My class name I'm giving relevant name, try to give guys. What we are practicing now, static. So you give static practice or static demo, something like that your class name. So my class name starts with a capital letter. So static, S capital, static demo, D capital. And I need a main method, take the main method. Done. All I'm going to show you here is static. So the variables you can declare below. I told you the class syntax. What is the class syntax? Class below you have a variables, methods, constructors, and blocks, right? So first static variable I'm declaring here. So static variable syntax. So I'm writing syntax one more time for you again and again. Access modifier, static. So data type. So variable name. Last class we practiced all these things. Again I'm giving here. Now first private I will start. Private access modifier I'm writing private. So this keyword I replaced it with the private access modifier. Then I have written a static keyword. Then I need to write next what? Data type I need to write. So I'll just take string. The variable name I'll give yes. So I'm giving a value. String value how we will represent? In double quotes inside. So Java I'm giving. That's my first static variable. Next static variable where I'm declaring default. So access modifier, if I want to use a default access modifier, I should not use any modifier keyword. Then directly start with a static keyword. Then int x equal to 15. Next access modifier. So I'm using protected static. See that word by word you go. First access modifier, that's why protected. Then next static keyword. Static keyword I have written. Then data type. So what is the data type? So char C equal to capital A. So another static variable I declared. Next, what is the next modifier? Public. So all I'm declaring, all four access modifier I'm using, four static variables I declared, four static variables. Then static. So in data type, I'll use float f equal to 4.5f. So this is the static variables how we can declare. But first static variables where you can declare, see that just below the class and with this syntax. Below the class, above the methods, you can declare static variables. That's a static variable place. I'm giving the place of the static variables where you can declare the static variables and assign the value. This is all assigning the value for this variable. Assigning the value for this variable. Okay. Done. Next, I'm going to declare static method without parameters. Access modifier, static. So void method name. So this is the logic. You can build the logic. Follow as per this private static void method name m1 I'm creating. I'll just use. So you can use all this data here, right? Right. This is a private static m1 method. Simple logic I'm writing. So you can use this data. You can use this data if you want, right? You can use. I'll just join this. So int sum equal to x plus c. So I can do this sum logic. I can write, I can print this value x and c sum value is. Then I'm joining some variable, local variable. This is the local. See, local variables, I am not using access modifiers. Catch that point. Only access modifier are applicable only for static variables and non-static variables, not for the local variables. Local variable means inside the method body you can write. That's a one method, simple method. I'm not doing very complicated. So next method, default method, right? Default method. This is a private method. Private access modifier, static method. So this is the default method I'm writing. So void m2, you can simply say, so this is my default access modifier static m2 method, right? And then I'll do some logic here. So I can do some logic. I'll do float, so result equal to f multiplied by c. So do some different logic you can do. So result value is, so I'm appending this result value. That's my second static method without parameters. This is all without parameters. Next method is protected static. See, all I'm deriving from this formula, based on this formula. See, every method starts here, ends here. Next only you can start the next method. You cannot write this method again, this method inside. Don't do that. See that the syntax you follow word by word: access modifier, private, static, void, method name m1, parenthesis, then curly braces start. So this is all logic. We call this all logic. And then method ended here. Then all I can start my next method. Don't write this inside this method. So if you want to start another method, this should end curly braces must be placed. Later line you can write. Next line you write your next method. So I see many people one method inside another method they're writing. That's not the right. Every method is independent. Every method is independent. You should not write one method inside another method. No. Protected static void m3 method. So this is my protected access modifier static m3 method, right? So then you can just say here, so I can use all these things. Yes, I'll use string s1 equal to s plus, I'm joining one more keyword. So you can say simply s1 value is plus s1. So this is a joining operator, joins that this string plus this s1 value. Whatever the s1 value, this will calculate and stores in s1 variable, right? That value, whatever the value is, that will print here. So because you're using a print statement, it will print. Next thing is public static, so void m4. See, all these methods I'm deriving based on this formula only. See that everywhere I followed this formula only I followed. Every method is independent. I'm not writing one method inside another method. Please catch these points. How to create static methods. Method creation is a very important. And this is public access modifier static m4 method. So do some logic here, okay? Do some logic. So I can say char c1 equal to and c plus 1. So it is going to throw some error, but this is the integer number it is giving, and convert this into the typecasting we have to do. The typecasting means, so I'm converting integer to c plus 1 is going to give integer. That integer I'm converting into character format. Now left side you declared a character, but this c plus 1 is giving integer number. That integer number I'm converting into character again. So c plus 1 means capital A is having ASCII code 65. 65 plus 1, 66 you will get here. 66 is the integer number, but I want a character. 66 related character I want. 66 is the ASCII code. That ASCII code character is capital B. So this typecast, what it will do, 66 related character it will give and stores in this C1. So that's a typecasting, we call this. If type is not matching both the left hand and right hand side, you can use a typecasting concept, and you can convert integer to character easily, because character also integer part. So this all will come in the next topic, and we'll see that. And I'll write C1 value is, just print the C1. So these are all different type of methods I have created, and one parameterized method I'll create so that it will be completed all of them. Access modifier, static, so void, method name, parenthesis, data type, parameter 1. So only one parameter I'm taking, logic. So then you create all different types of methods, public, static. So void m5 method. So I'll write int a. So one parameter I have taken. So I can write, so this is public access modifier, a static parameterized method m5 with single parameter. So you can write a big statements, not an issue. So I'll just do that, a equal to a plus 2. Then we print the a value. So the simple logics you do, not necessarily very big complex. See this parameter I declared here, I'm using here. See that data type. So this is the integer data type. Parameter a is the parameter. So I'm calling that a. So a value is, so now a value will change, right? That's the one simple. And I can write a method with 3 parameters or 2 parameters. Say private, static, void m6. So every method should be independent. Okay, make sure your methods are independent. Float f comma double d. So 2 parameters I have taken, both are decimal related. So this is a private access modifier, static m5 m6 method with the 2 parameters. What are the parameters here? F and d is the parameters. What is the data type of f? Float. What is the data type of double? D. D data type is a double. So now you can see, so I'll get a double only. If you are doing calculation with a double and f, you will get a double only output. So output equal to f multiplied by d. So you'll get a double only. So double is the bigger one than float, and output value is. So the main purpose of parameterized method, so you can give different values by calling this m6 method. You can give different values. That's advantage here with parameterized method. So like this, you can create n number of parameters. See that every parameter you are declaring here within the round brackets, that parameters must start with the data type first, then parameter name. Parameter name you can give any name, and double D. So once you declare parameters, make sure you use inside this method body logic. If you're not using, don't declare the parameters. So like that, you can create all different types of methods. So how can I call? Let me show you how to call them. So static methods, how to call. So parameterized methods, directly I'll call one method. So the method calling static method without parameters. So I have shown you already, just call the method name. This is the syntax, method name semicolon. That's the method name, that's it. So this is the syntax, how to call a static method without parameters inside the main method. Then only it will execute, right? Otherwise it won't execute. For execution, I declared my methods. You declare n number of methods, but you must call here. So next, another method, I'll call one m5 method. So parameterized method, how to call parameterized method. So here is the syntax, method name, give parameter value. Parameter value you have to give. You should not write again data type. So for example, I'll call m5. So m5 I'm giving 3. That's our integer type, right? This is the integer type. That's why you need to give integer value only. Now same way you call m5 one more time, you can call. So parameterized methods you can call n number of times. Every time you can change the value. So like suppose 9. See, the method name I called same method, but different values I'm giving. That's the advantage with this parameterized method. M6 method I'll call. So I'm giving 2 parameters, right? So this M6 contains 2 parameters, F and D. So I need to give 2.5 capital F, comma, For double, you don't need to give f. Double you can give directly 6, 7, 8 like this. Decimal, both are decimals. You can give like this. This is the how to call methods. Let me give you one more static block, last one, so that we can finish a complete code about static thing. Static block syntax, what? Static, directly you can write. So this is my first static block. So here also you can use all these static blocks and everything. You can do that. Okay. So suppose float. So I can use the variables here, right? You have variables. C plus X minus F I'll do. C plus X minus F I can do. So whatever the logic, all the variables you can use global variables. These are all global variables. Globally you declared, and you can use in all the methods of static methods. See that? All the static methods you can use them. That's the advantage with these things. Even I can use here. So I'll try to use this a different name, F1, because already F on the top. That's why I'll differentiate local variables and global variables. And here I just called out sub output is plus sub. See, first static block will execute. So I can write here static block ends here. You can write n number of static blocks also. Static block ends here. If you want to write one more static block, you can write one more static. But first static, it doesn't matter order. So if I keep here main method above, first that will execute. I can say this is my second static block. So I can say that this will execute first. Maybe I'll use here plus, I'll use here minus, and I can say so result. We can see result. Static block ends here. Second static block first, but this one will execute first in the line. This is the first static block, right? This will execute, then it will execute second one. This will execute second one. So how many static blocks are there in the class? First static blocks will execute in your class. So let's execute. See that first second static block executed, done. Then it went to second static block. That first static block, main method below one more static block. Then main method code is executing. Now it is coming here. So main method inside it is coming. Then main method is over. Then it's going for the next M5 method. So M5 method twice we call, and then M6 method. So this is all the code how to execute, how to call the static methods, and parameterized methods how to call, and how to create a static blocks.